Hey, welcome to the Nursing Dose with your host, Dr. Farah Laurent. Today, I'm talking to all my new nurses. If you're graduating, about to graduate, or you recently graduated, or a nursing student in your senior year, this episode is for you. Okay? So, are you ready for your next interview? That is the question, and that is the live today that I'm going to be covering and getting into a conversation about. For those who don't know me, I am a nurse career coach, specifically coaching new graduate nurses and nursing student to land their dream specialty in areas like the ICU, the emergency department, NICU, PICU, L&D, psych, all of the areas in less than 90 days when all their counterparts are waiting anywhere from 6 months, 9 months, up to a year. And how am I helping these new nurses land six-figure roles in their specialty area? Through my proven frameworks and strategies. And I've helped over 200 nurses get there. So if you want to learn more, join my free webinar this Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, newnursejob.com. That's how you get it. Or if you're on TikTok, simply go and click the link and you'll be able to, the link in the bio, you'll be able to register for this free webinar. Same thing with Instagram. And eventually on LinkedIn, I also will place it there. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see you could easily click in the description box to get access to this free webinar. So let's get into it. I have 5 questions for you new nurses who are ready to step out into the workforce, ready to find that dream role. I have 5 questions to ask you. Are you ready for that next nursing interview? Many nurses come to me really frustrated, nervous, and feeling intimidated by the interview process. So this is why I wanted to do today's show on specifically, are you ready for your next interview? Okay, so the first question to ask yourself is, do I have an interview pitch? Okay, if you don't have an interview pitch, then you're going to have a very hard time in the beginning of your interview. Specifically, when they ask you the question, tell me about yourself. If you don't have an interview pitch, what will end up happening is you will literally just start rambling on. You won't know when to stop. You won't have a structure. And you're not really going to know how to answer that question if you haven't prepared it ahead of time and you don't have an interview pitch. And if you're listening and you're like, what is she talking about? What is an interview pitch? So essentially, an interview pitch is a way that you're going to promote and market yourself concisely in the beginning of the interview. That is going to answer the question, tell me about yourself, in a way that they're going to see you as the ideal candidate, especially if you have a panel interview with other nursing candidates. Specifically, some of you are applying to nurse residency programs, especially in California. They're having panel interviews with sometimes up to 5 candidates or up to 10 candidates, where they want to see who is going to answer that question really confidently and be able to present themselves in a way that they're like, hey, I want to hire this person for this particular role. Excuse me. Especially if you're trying to get into competitive residency programs such as Stanford, NYU, or specialty areas like the ICU, which is critical care, or the ER, or labor and delivery. And this is how I've helped my clients secure same-day offers at places like NYU, Stanford, securing their specialty areas like the ICU, labor and delivery, mother, baby, NICU, all of these roles that you think is going to be very difficult to get. my clients are getting them in record time. So one of the things that I first teach them when we go through interview in the coaching program is how to craft and set up that interview pitch. Okay. So essentially, that interview pitch, I can't go through it all right now, but it's a 3-part section of how I teach them to answer it. The beginning part typically will answer, why are you interested in nursing, but why particularly that specialty area? It's your why story. Okay. Please don't start the interview introducing yourself saying, hi, my name is Farah. I went to this school and I want to help people. And then you start reciting your resume. Do not do that, because they have your resume, they have your name, and they know everything on your resume. You don't have to go back and recite. This is your chance to give a little bit more about who you are as a person, show a little bit of your personality, and talk about specifically the impact that you're going to make in that specialty area and why you're so passionate about being an emergency nurse or being a critical care nurse or labor and delivery. For me, it was emergency medicine as a new nurse. And I was fully transparent and I had my pitch down and I knew exactly what to say. And I really just came from the heart and talked about my story of why I wanted to be an emergency nurse. Okay. So that's number one. If you don't have an interview pitch, you are not ready. You are slipping. Okay. To learn more about this interview pitch, like I said, I have a free training this Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. PST. How do you get signed up for it? Go to newnursejob.com. The link is in the bio on TikTok and Instagram, and I'll put it later for LinkedIn. So, or you could just literally just go to newnursejob.com and sign up for the webinar. If you can't join this Thursday, that's fine. I would still sign up for it so that you will get notifications for the next webinar, and then you won't miss it. You'll actually get text notifications as well. So go and sign up right now so you don't miss out. Let me know in the chat if you signed up for it. And if you're just joining me, this free webinar is specifically designed for senior nursing students, any recent graduate nurse that just graduated or is about to graduate. And it helps you learn how to get hired faster. I go through my frameworks and strategies on how I've coached over 200 nurses to land their dream role in specialty areas while getting 6 figures in places like New York City and San Francisco. So join me this Thursday at newnursejob.com. Sign up for that free training. Okay. So I'm going through the top 5 questions that will tell you whether you are ready for your next nursing interview or not. The first question was, do you have an interview pitch? Let me know in the chat if you guys have an interview pitch. If you don't, it's okay. Come to that free webinar and we'll take a deeper dive into how to set up that interview pitch. Okay. Number 2, you have to ask yourself, do I know how to articulate my value when it comes to skills, experiences, right? How are you going to articulate that value in your interview? If you don't know how to articulate that value, it's going to be very difficult for the interviewers to extend an offer if you can't put it to words, right? And some of you might think, well, I Google specific interview questions and I prepare that way by writing it down. And I have a bunch of questions that I write down the answers to. Okay, that's one part of it. But if you're not actually speaking it out loud, articulating it, and going through a mock interview with someone who is in healthcare, specifically a nurse like me, a nurse career coach, who can guide you and tell you, yes, say this, don't say that, eliminate that, it's going to be very hard for you to learn how to articulate it if you're not practicing. And I've recently spoke to a couple new nurses, and one of them was like, well, I practice with my friends or I practice with my husband. And I'm like, cool. Are they in healthcare or are they a nurse? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's one thing to practice with someone, but they have no clue what these hiring managers are going to ask or the recruiters are going to ask, specifically when it comes to clinical style questions. And they're not going to know how to articulate your value as a new graduate nurse. So, again, I encourage you to come join my free training this Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, newnursejob.com. That's how you get signed up. Once it fills up, that's it. So, make sure that you secure your spot now so that you'll learn how to articulate your value and speak it in the interview and not just write things down. Because it's one thing to write it down, but when you have to actually speak it out loud, you might think in your head, oh, yeah, it sounds really good. But the moment you try to speak it out loud, it will sound very different if you haven't practiced, if you haven't done a mock style interview. If this is resonating with you, let me know in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions or comments related to the job search interview questions. Drop them in the chat. Even if you happen to be watching the replay, I'll go back and look at them and answer your questions. Okay. So again, if you're just joining, I'm going through 5 questions you should ask yourself as a new nurse to see if you are ready for your next interview. The number 1 question was, do I have an interview pitch? If you don't, it's going to be very hard for you to answer the tell me about yourself question. Number 2, do I know how to articulate my value so I can make myself more marketable? I can be clear and concise, really explaining my past experiences, my skills, and how to relate it to the job description or the particular role that you're applying for. Okay? That's number 2, because you need to let them know what your value is and how you'll be successful in that residency program or in that particular role. Okay? Number 3, the third question is, do I have powerful stories that will demonstrate my competence? And if you don't have any particular stories, it's going to be very hard when they're asking you behavioral style questions. Okay? 100%, they will ask you behavioral style questions, at least 1 to 2 of those questions in your next new grad interview. What does it look like? They'll say something like, hey, can you tell me a time when you went above and beyond for a patient or a family member? And in that question, they're asking about patient experience, which is essentially customer service. How are you going above and beyond for your patients? And if you don't have a specific story with a specific layout and you're not breaking it down and saying it in a compelling way, which is right, the storytelling aspect that demonstrates your competence and what you actually did to help you stand out in that interview, you're not going to get the job. And the time to think of the story is not during the interview, right? So many nurses come to me and they're like, oh my goodness, they asked me this question. I didn't know how to answer it. I didn't have a story. You need to think of all this and prep for it before the interview. Okay. And these are things that I'm going to be going through in my free training this Thursday. How do you sign up for it? Go to newnursejob.com. If you're on Instagram or TikTok, the link is in the bio. Same thing on LinkedIn. I'll switch it after this live and put it in there. And let's say you are actually in the New York area. Let me know where you guys are from in the chat. If you guys are from the New York, Connecticut area, New Jersey area, let me know in the chat, because I actually have a live event. I'm doing a day conference. It's going to be like a workshop style with lunch in New Jersey. And this is specifically designed for new nurses or senior nursing students. And it's going to happen from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. May 30th. It's a Saturday. So definitely direct message me if you're interested to get that link to secure your spot. There's limited spots. There's only 60 spots. So I do have some tickets left over. So definitely direct message me if you are interested. And that is the New Nurse to Dream Role event. Okay. Is that truly Myron Golden, or is that somebody else here on TikTok? If it is you, shout out to you for coming through and joining this TikTok. I think that's super cool. But it's so hard to tell who's real on these platforms. But anyways, I do follow your content if it is you. Okay, so if you're just joining me, like I said, I'm a nurse career coach that's helping new graduate nurses like yourself and senior nursing students land six-figure roles in specialty areas like the ICU, the ER, labor and delivery, psych, really anywhere that your heart desires. And you can get into those areas, but you need to be ready for your interview. So my question today on this live is, are you ready for your next interview? Okay, so we covered 3 questions already, which is, do you have an interview pitch? Do you know how to articulate your value? Do you have powerful stories that are going to address their behavioral style questions that can demonstrate your competence and your ability to tell a really good story to engage the interviewer so you can be unforgettable and a candidate that stands out? Okay. And then number 4, this is probably the most important question that you have to ask yourself. And that is, do I believe that I can get this position, right? Do I believe I can get this position? Many new nurses come to me and they really want to work in labor and delivery, or they really want to work in a pediatric ICU. But if you have any ounce of doubt, right? Any ounce of doubt that like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm not ready. Maybe it's too soon. Maybe I should wait. If you have any reservation or doubt, then it's going to be very difficult for you to be confident in that interview to answer the questions. Because if you don't believe that you can get that position, that first nursing position that you deserve, it's going to be very hard. They're going to see it all over your face, your mannerisms. Out loud, you can say the right words, you could say the right things, but deep down, if you don't believe that you could be an ER nurse or an ICU nurse or a labor and delivery nurse, it's going to be very hard for you to get through that interview. And you may not get the position if you don't truly believe it deep down inside. So how do you fix that? That's through mindset and reframing your thoughts to be more positive and doing some work, right? Not listening to the naysayers, not listening to the traditional old school narratives like, hey, you got to pay your dues and go to med surg first before you go into a specialty area. Okay, is this for real, Gary V? If it's Gary V, shout out to Gary, like for real, Myron Golden and Gary V. I don't know. Should I even invite you as a guest up here? I should, right? Just to see if it's really you. I follow Gary V's content a lot as a business owner. But anyways, yeah, shout out to you, Gary, if it's truly you. Okay, next. Number 5, which is the last question. How confident am I going into this interview? So on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest confidence level, you have to seriously rate yourself. 1 being the very lowest confidence. 1 to 10, where are you currently on that scale about how confident you are about interviewing for your first position. If it's anything less than a 10, then you need to do some work. And again, I invite you to come to my free training this Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. PST. How do you sign up? Go to newnursejob.com or simply go to TikTok. The link is in the bio. Link is in the bio on Instagram as well. And it will be on LinkedIn as soon as I'm done with this live. Let me know if you guys have any comments, any questions regarding what I just discussed. And I'm going to, again, recap everything I just talked about. And if you're just joining me, if you are a brand new nurse, maybe you just graduated in December, January, or just recently this April, and you're looking for your first role, your dream role, whether it's in labor and delivery, NICU, ICU, ER, I want you to know it's possible. You can get it now. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait years and years and years. You can get it now. But today I was just talking about interview readiness. How ready are you for that first nursing interview? And I have 5 questions for you. Do you have an interview pitch? If you don't, you need to get yourself one. Number 2, are you able to articulate your value, your skills, and experiences in a way that'll help you stand out during the interview? Number 3, do you have powerful stories when they ask you behavioral style questions or clinical style questions to be able to put it together concisely and in an impactful story that's going to be unforgettable and demonstrate your competence at the same time, right? And then number 4, truly deep down, ask yourself, do you believe that you can get this position? And it has to do with your mindset, what you've been told, how to eliminate those self-limiting beliefs, how to eliminate the naysayers and what they're telling you. And deep down, do you believe that you can get this position? Because that's number 1, okay? And then number 5, how confident are you going into this interview? If it's anything less than a 10, then you need to get some guidance with your interview. And that's where I come in. As a nurse career coach, I've coached over 200 new grads get into specialty positions all over the US, all over Canada, and I specialize specifically with nurses in California and New York City area because they're, usually told those are the competitive type of areas, right? But my clients are getting same-day offers. They're getting into residency programs in record time, into residency programs like Stanford, NYU, in cities like San Francisco and New York City, making well over 130K up to 190, 200K. Okay? How are they doing this? Through my coaching, through my strategies and frameworks. And if you want to learn more, literally just go to my website, nursefair.com. You'll see all the receipts, the videos, the testimonials. Go on LinkedIn under my recommendation section. You'll see all the testimonials there. And better yet, just come and hang out with me. Have some fun on Thursday at my free training specifically designed for you as nursing students and new grads, right? newnursejob.com. Or simply go on the bio. Okay. And like I said, I do have a free training that happens every week. If you can't come this Thursday, that's fine. Still sign up at newnursejob.com. You'll get notifications by email, by text when the next one will happen. And even better, come meet me in person and ask your, all the questions that you want. In New Jersey, I'm having a live in-person event, a day conference specifically for you nurses that are new nurses, new grads, nursing students, looking to get hired faster and wanting to avoid all of these mistakes in your interviews, this event is especially designed for you. And you can compress everything into one day. We're going to look at your LinkedIn profile, look at your resume, cover letter. I'm going to do some in-person audits, some actual hot seat coaching. We'll actually do live mock interviews, and we'll go through commonly asked questions. We're going to go through it all from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Cranford, New Jersey. How do you get your tickets? Direct message me or email me at farrahlaurent1@gmail.com. I'll drop my email later. And just simply direct message me, new nurse to dream role event, and I will send you the link to sign up. There's only 60 spots available. And again, it's happening in Cranford, New Jersey. You can easily get to New Jersey by train. Specifically, if you're coming from New York, just go to Penn Station, and there's a direct train that drops you off right in Cranford. There's also a bus. So even if you're coming from like Connecticut or the surrounding areas, I welcome and invite you to come. It's going to be super fun. You're also going to have lunch. You'll network with other nurses and really compress your learning, and you'll transform your confidence. Like literally, you will leave a changed person, a changed new nurse with a ton of confidence. So join me May 30th. It's a Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Cranford, New Jersey. How do you get the event link? Just direct message me and I will send you that link, or just email me at farrahlaurent1@gmail.com to get your spot. Limited seats. There's only 60 seats, and already people are buying tickets, so you don't want to miss out. You'll learn everything and more that I do in my free training, and have a chance to be coached by me directly at this event. We'll do interviews, we'll do audits of your resume, cover letter, LinkedIn profile. You'll learn how to get hired faster. Okay? And you'll walk away with a new network, other nursing friends, literally in a community. You'll walk away with everything you need to be able to get hired faster. But the one thing is your confidence will literally be transformed. Okay. So how do you get tickets? Direct message me or email me at farrahlaurent1@gmail. That's it for me today. Drop any comments or questions that you guys have. Come to my free webinar this Thursday, newnursejob.com. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't, The Nursing Dose with Farrah. All right, y'all.